The first sermon I preached to the Presbyterian of Mississippi is one that I preach to myself quite often. There's a story in, now I can't remember if it's 1st or 2nd Kings. I think it's 2nd Kings chapter 4 with the prophet Elisha. And this widow, her husband just died. He was a prophet. You remember the story. And Elisha comes to her, and when she comes, she finds Elisha and says, my husband's dead. The lenders are taking my... The Mosaic law gave these lenders the right to take her children as payment for this debt she owed. And so she comes to Elisha. She says, we're in debt, and these people want to take my kids. And Elisha says, what do you have in your house? And she says, we have nothing in there at all except a little oil. And Elisha says, what I want you to do is I want you to go gather every bottle that you can get your hands on. Get your boys to start gathering all these bottles. And they start gathering, and he says, I want you to start pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring. And all of a sudden it says that every bottle in their village or neighborhood was exhausted. They were all filled to the brim. And then the oil stopped pouring. She came to Elisha and said, the deed is done. He says, now I want you to go sell all that oil, pay off your debt, and live on the rest. And the title of that song was God Doesn't Need Much. That God can take a little and do more with it than we can possibly imagine. In a lot of ways, I feel like that jar of oil, or that widow, I don't have a whole lot to offer. But I'm boasted by the hope that God doesn't need much. I think that I preached this to this Presbyterian, but it was more of one of those sermons to myself than it was to anybody else. Because I'm generally not a conflict person. I have ADD. I was diagnosed with ADD in college after I almost flunked out the second time. And then I graduated from Princeton Seminary, which is, one of the best Presbyterian seminary in the country. With like a 3.7 GPA. And I was on academic probation where I wasn't. And that's not to say, pat myself on the back. It's just to say God doesn't need much. God has a cause and a place for me. And God's making sure that gets done regardless of this vessel, how empty or whatever that I might feel. So anyway, it's a pleasure for me to share this testimony with you guys. And sharing this testimony, I had a depressing week last week. That's when I visited with this pastor, and even just being here tonight, being able to recount this story and remind myself of the testimony of what got me here gives me courage to, go through those tough times where I don't know which way is up or anything like that. So anyway, I thank you for this opportunity and for y'all being here and help us out. It means a whole bunch.
Thank you.
God, I think Joy would agree with this. The fact that you are humbled already, but you don't necessarily, you're totally centered on the rest. You're major steps ahead of most people coming out of the seminary. God wants to humble you. You're there. You're ready. You're receptive. You're teachable. And in that journey, you need light years ahead of a lot of people who think they know it all and they have a great education. God has exactly where He wants you.